Today we're going to create and configure virtual networks. Our first exercise is we're going to configure a Hyper-V virtual switch. These switches come in 3 different flavors: external, internal, and private. Let's go ahead and open up Hyper-V Manager. Let's right click on PLAB Hyper-V and we're going to select the virtual switch manager. Notice that we already have 2 virtual switches created. PLAB, it's internal only, and PLAB private, that's internal only. We're going to create another private virtual switch, so we'll click here in private, create virtual switch. We'll name this one PLAB Internet. Click OK. Let's go back into the virtual switch manager. Notice that we have 3 virtual switches. We now have PLAB Internet, the one that we just created. After the switch is created, you could also change the connection type. Remember, we had it created as a private network. We could go ahead and put it to an internal network and just click apply. It's giving us just the standard warnings there. That's fine. We could also configure MAC address ranges, which is right here. We would select it and we would put our starting range and our ending range. And once all those changes would be made, you would just click OK. Our next exercise is to configure network isolation. Let's power on PLAB Win 802. Let's click connect and the green power button. Just minimize the workstation. We're going to work with PowerShell for a bit. And I hit tab to complete some of these commands, so you can just type in the first 3 letters. For example, I did VMN. I'm trying to get VM name, tab, and name came right up. So this command gives you a summary of the network adapters detected on PLAB Win 802 device. Now we're going to deny traffic between the remote and the VM. Well, sometimes the tab is not going to be perfect, but what you can do, you can cycle through it till you get what you want. So VM name is what I wanted here. Remote IP address, good. Okay, we put the deny command. You're not going to get a confirmation on quite a few of these PowerShell commands. We're going to deny traffic to another IP address. Alright, it's done. So traffic on PLAB Win 802 is blocked to this IP address and this IP address. Next thing we're going to do is get the ACLs associated with PLAB Win 802. And there you have it. Notice all of these actions for deny, and we see the two IP addresses that we were working with. All these deny actions. Let's go ahead and exit out of this. Our next exercise is to configure legacy virtual network adapters. We're going to be working with the VM PLAB Win 803. Just right mouse click on it, select settings. Let's click on legacy network adapter, and down here it tells you use a legacy network adapter to perform a network-based installation of the guest operating system or when integration services are not installed in the guest operating system. So this works very well with Windows Deployment Services, WDS, and SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager. Let's go ahead and click on Add. And notice our legacy network adapters here. We're going to go ahead to the virtual switch and select the Intel 82574L. We'll enable virtual LAN identification and we'll click OK. In our next exercise, we're going to optimize network performance. Let's go to our Win 802 virtual machine. We're going to right mouse click, select on settings. Let's expand network adapter, select hardware acceleration, and let's enable SR-IOV, which allows the virtual OS to communicate directly with the NIC. Let's click OK. So in this lab we covered configuring Hyper-V virtual switches. We configured the network isolation of one of our virtual machines, and we optimized the network performance by enabling the SR-IOV so that the virtual machine could communicate directly with the physical NIC on the computer.